Welcome to the conversation with Priya. I'm your host, Priya Mishra. Today, our guest is Mukundan Satyanarayanan. Is currently serving as the Chief Executive Officer of a leading consulting firm, Concept to Consumer. Having its business in India and Singapore, he has also served as the CEO of Vcare Group, a leading Indian health and wellness brand, for about 10 years. With more than 22 years of experience in food processing, pharmaceutical manufacturing, and cosmetic science, he also holds good experience in national supplement and functional food. He has formulated more than 400 cosmetic formulation and 100 nutritional supplement. He is a member of Society of Cosmetic Chemists, UK American Oil Chemist Society, National Association of Holistic Aromatherapy, Complementary Medical Association UK, etc. Also an executive board member of NG India Business Member. He has done 4 international presentation and 9 national presentation on various subjects related to health and wellness. He has recently published a paper on ligand-based drug design for COVID-19. A multifaceted approach using ligand design, molecular docking, and a binding probability calculation is an international journal. He is also an expert faculty in subjects like aromatherapy, naturopath, psychology, and cosmetic science, etc. So help me to welcome today in our show Conversation with Priya, Mr. Mukund. Hello and welcome to Conversation with Priya. Thank you for joining in today, Mukundan. Can you tell me something about you, about your journey today?
I'm Mukundan. I'm basically a chemical engineer by profession. I did my chemical engineering from Lakshminarayanan Institute of Technology, Nagpur. After that, for a very short period, I was in the polymer industry for about a year. Then I shifted my career to the cosmetics and wellness segment. I started my career in cosmetic industry with a company called Care, where I worked in various capacities as a product development manager, as a production manager. Then I moved to a company called TTK LIG, where we used to manufacture Durex, the contraceptives. I was a internal auditor there, and I was a product development manager there. And 2006, I moved to a company called Vcare as the chief executive officer. And it was a very long stint. I was there till 2015. In 2015, I started my company, Concepts to Consumer, with the basic idea to provide technical services to companies involved in pharma, cosmetics, and food production. In 2018, we established an office in Singapore as well.
Sure.
And now we are extending services to close to around 40-45 companies, rather I would say the major part of Asia and a few countries outside as well.
Sure.
Our focus is more now on the food industry, and especially after Corona, we are able to see a very good surge in the food industry. And we are also contributing to the wellness and pharma industry to a greater extent. But
Sure.
we confine ourselves to this, and 80% of the services what we provide is of technical origin, and some services we also provide in the sales and marketing segment.
Sure.
And Concepts to Consumer.
Okay. Okay, so you have a long journey and you have worked in a multiple product and multiple segment of the business. What is the concepts to consumer and its scope of services extended? Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah. See, when I came out of my job and when I had an intention to start a consulting company, I thought that my services should start from conceptualizing a thing, that is making a concept ready, and I need to provide a service where it should extend till reaching the consumer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's how the name concepts to consumer came in. We started delivering services which included technical, sales and marketing, even to some extent providing them financial services like preparing a DPR and all those things.
Yeah.
But over a period of time, because of the requirements, because of the heavy demand from the technical segment,
Yeah.
we confined ourselves to the technical aspects.
Yeah.
And turnkey projects is one of our major segment. We extend turnkey services to companies involved in food processing, pharma processing, and cosmetics.
Yeah.
So right from the concept building up to sourcing of machineries, erection, commissioning, validation, we extend services. So apart from that, we are very strong in formulations. We do develop formulations for the cosmetic and pharma and food industries. So we have done close to 400 plus cosmetic formulations and 200 plus nutritional supplements, and about 70 to 8 generic food products. And the third important specialization of concept to consumer is the regulatory approvals and registrations.
Sure.
So we in fact had a concept called Gateway to India, where any foreign companies who want to come and sell their products in the Indian market, we do all the regulatory registrations for them. It may be FDA or it may be FSSA. So any of this registration, we do that. And apart from that, any Indian company who want to export their products to the other segments, it may be SAARC or GCC or ASEAN or EU or US. So we do registrations for them in those countries. And for that purpose, we have contracts signed with various regulatory agencies in those countries as well.
Right. So you are offering varieties of services to the different segment and different kind of people who wants to come from overseas to India and India to overseas. So it's like you cover all end-to-end aspects. Yeah. So that's very interesting, because there are a lot of people are looking forward for those kinds of support, especially when the a kind of a wave is going on for the Made in India concept. So it's really going to be very supportive for those businesses who really want to approach from India to Australia and Australia to India or any part of the world, which is very interesting aspect. So that brings to my next question. Food processing has been one of the sector which has not been impacted by the recent COVID-19 epidemic. On the contrary, demand for processed food has risen due to the safety concerns and minimal contact norms. What do you think the industry has to do to grow further and maintain the current growth rate?
Like as you said, the food industry is growing phenomenally.
Yeah.
Especially after Corona. There are two good reasons, I would say. One is people have been idle for 1 or 2 months.
Yeah.
The consumption pattern increased to a greater extent. The reason for the growth of the generic foods is this, that because of the increase in the consumption, the industry went up.
Yeah.
There is another specific area where there has been growth is the nutritional supplement segment.
Yeah.
Of late, in the last 10 years, the supplement industry is growing like anything. So it was 2008 when I first entered into this nutritional food supplement segment.
Yeah.
It is really difficult to make people differentiate between a drug and a supplement.
Yeah.
So people say that this is also coming in capsule, that is also coming in capsule.
Yeah.
So what is the difference? So that was the level. But in the last 3-4 years, we are able to see a lot of awareness happening in the food supplement side.
Yeah.
And this industry, as I said, the generic food industry, whatever growth has happened earlier, like since the people were indoors, their consumption pattern increased, and because of that, there has been an increase in the generic food supplements, food segment. But as far as the supplement segment is concerned, especially after Corona, lot of awareness has got developed. So people have started thinking that either they should start consuming the food supplements, or they should resort to natural foods in order to keep their immunity high and in order to have a trouble-free life.
Yeah.
So on a longer run, if you see the natural food segment and the food supplement industry, they are going to have a very huge growth.
Yeah.
And as you said, the processed foods, it is having a increase. But my prediction is that on a longer run, there might be a dip in the processed food industry, and slowly it would be replaced by the natural food industry, or at least to an extent. At least to an extent that environment-friendly ingredients and health-friendly ingredients will be given a due consideration, rather than the palatability of the products.
Yeah. So as we can see, there is a very big interest coming up in the organic industry, and it's growing really fast. Even though, despite it is very costly, it's a growth we can see. So, what are the factors beside hygiene and looks to companies have to focus on?
Okay. See, the organic. I have been. It's more of my interest which has brought me to the organic segment.
Yeah.
Though I'm connected to the organic food processing, I may not. I can say that I may not be much connected with the organic cultivation, but my interest towards the subject has driven me close towards that. And we represent nearly 3 organic certification bodies in India.
Yep.
So we assist our clients in getting them certified. The only case is there is an apparent organic industry, I would say. Like the products are not real to the standards. That is one of the biggest challenges the organic industry is facing. I would say there are 2 things as far as an organic certification is concerned. One is called as scope certificate, which says that your company is a certified organic brand or a certified organic company. And after that, whether your product is really organic or not, that depends upon a certification called as TC, called transfer certificate, which has to offer every consignment which is being sold. So, really speaking, in many countries, including India, people manage, the manufacturers, they manage with the scope certificate. They just show the scope certificate and say that my company is organic certified. But really speaking, we don't know whether the product what they sell is a certified organic product or not. So this situation is taking a change, but a lot of awareness among people is required for this to transform.
Yeah, for sure.
And the second point with respect to the price, if you say, an incremental price of around 30 to 35% is fairly good. But we are seeing cases really not a fact. Because when you, yes, I accept that the organic cultivation is a little expensive, but only at the initial stages. It is like when you transform from a traditional fertilizer-based cultivation to an organic cultivation. There is a drop of around 30 to 35% in the first and second year. And the cost of your inputs, the organic fertilizer, will also go up in the first and second year. But at the end of 4 years, when you really achieve the certification status, it is like your input cost is nearly 50% of your previous case, and your yield is more by 20-25%. So I've personally felt this, and the only incremental cost could be like the cost of certification. You need to pay a fair certification fee and the transfer certificate fee. Only that is going to add to your cost. So I think cost of around 30-35% more than the conventional thing It's not possible. And if it is sold at double or triple, it is just being hyped. So on a longer run, I would say the price may not be a big challenging factor in the organic industry.
Yeah.
It's
So
only the awareness.
that's for sure. But I'm just saying that in this growing demand of organic product, particularly in the West, and the reason, like, what is the reason for this, and what does the industry needs to do to spread its reach in the East? Because the way East is actually changing, our food habits have completely changed. The eastern part of the world, So Western society is adopting a lot on the organic side, right? And it is a huge demand. A lot of people are becoming vegans and all, and the organic food demand is actually increasing. Ensure the country like India is actually trying to fulfill the people who are from the Eastern world, try to fulfill that kind of organic cultivation and everything. But how we can actually inject this into the local public? What's the company and the organizations are working towards it?
See, even in India, I would say that in the last few years, a good awareness is getting developed. But one thing is, people even without verifying the facts, they develop a perception that organic food is costly. That is one of the things I have personally clarified to many of my known people.
Yeah.
Sometime when they say this, I personally take them to the market. I show them that what is the price difference there. And we explain them that what is the difference between a traditionally cultivated food and an organic cultivated food. What is the impact it is going to have on their health?
Yeah.
Transformation. And what rather I would think is when the competition level increases, when more people get into the organic business, then automatically the price war will start.
Yeah.
And
supply
the
chain.
are going to already we are seeing this impact. The prices have started coming down.
Yeah.
So definitely over the next 3-4 years, India would become one of the largest.
And I'm sure there are a lot of part of the India is like, if you see our population, it's majority of people are living into the countryside, and I think if we live in a more countryside, we are adopted to the organic without calling it organic, organic word, but we are adopted to the organic food, right? Like if I'll see my life, my past life growing in the village side, it tells me that I actually grew up with the very organic food. We had the cow farm, we had the, all that farms and the vegetables and the grain is grown in house. And our parents were very particular about following the traditional way of farming, So it is an organic living style of most of the villages, and a lot of people in country like India and the developing country, they cannot afford the high quality costly fertilizers, right? So they adopt to the natural one, because it's readily available. So do you consider if we are not defining the certified way of organic, it is not an organic?
No, actually, I would say that it's other way around in India. Today, if you see the inorganic, the fertilizers, the chemical fertilizers tend to be more cheaper than the organic fertilizers.
For sure.
And the major thing is with respect to the transformation which should happen in a farmer, when it takes a period of 4 years for getting converted to an organic platform, the small farmers really face it as a challenge. That they cannot wait for 2 years or more than 2 years to adapt to reap the benefits of that.
Yeah.
So, and the other facts like the apparent green revolution which happened in India before 40 years, the white revolution, all these things, they have forced even the village farmers to adapt to chemical fertilizers rather than the organic way of doing it.
Yeah.
And I would say it's happening in the reverse way now, that people from the city, after acquiring the knowledge about the organic farming, we are in fact educating the village farmers to again getting retransformed into the organic sector. This is the exact thing which is happening in India now, and we really feel it difficult. I conduct a lot of awareness program among farmers. So we really feel it difficult bringing back the farmer from the traditional chemical fertilizer way into an organic segment.
Yeah.
And even the fertilizer companies, they're very strongly inculcating a point in their mind that the organic fertilizers are very expensive and your yield is going to come down.
Yeah, it's kind of a negative marketing going on for their own interest.
We are facing a lot of challenges in this, but segment-wise, a lot of changes are happening.
Yeah.
For example, your A2 milk, which was not known before 3 years, it has become very common now in India.
Yeah.
And even I'm saying people in cities, they're able to spend double the amount to get an A2 milk rather than A1 milk.
Yeah.
So I think next 5-6 years, it is going to be the real period of transformation.
Yeah.
And definitely, considering the pollution rather complexities here, people will definitely turn to organic. We are very confident about that.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I'm looking forward to that because considering the government is bringing a lot of our whole Indian traditional way of farming and all, and there are huge support coming for the farmers and direct selling approach and giving them the more benefit. And I've been looking at that recent bills and all from the government they have actually introduced. It's very interesting changes is happening. The local public might not be ready yet. They are not well educated. It will take time, but the new policies are coming up, which is very, very strong towards the farming industry. FMCG industry is going to transform hugely, especially when I was looking into the milk industry, like the animal industry, because we don't do too much animal farming like Western people does. But when we say Western farming, it's more of a milk product related rather than the animal meats related. But interesting changes are happening in that one. So going forward, I'm hoping that Indian traditional medicine, especially in Ayurveda and Siddha, is going to actually take place more into the Indian lifestyle because that's our past. And it also benefited us in a long life. We used to be a green belt, but now we are actually facing a lot of challenges due to the pollution, due to the food style and lifestyle. Everything is actually challenging us, right? So do you see the future coming up? Ayurveda and Siddha is coming about, at front of the people's life?
Definitely, there is a growth, there is an improvement. There are two things. It is like from the people's perception, things have changed a lot. Like even in Western countries, people prefer using Ayurvedic and Siddha medicines. For general information, I would say some 6 months back, Siddha was recognized as one of the official and permitted system of medicine in New Zealand.
Very interesting.
And so, I mean, definitely from the people's perception, things are improving a lot.
Yeah.
One of the major challenges the Ayurvedic and the Siddha industry is facing today is the regulatory standards.
Yeah.
See, generally across the world, it's a perception that the traditional medicines, it may be Siddha or Ayurveda or Unani or Arabic medicine, or it may be TCM, even traditional Chinese medicine.
Yeah.
There is a perception that, the standards are not followed. So for the approval of these medicines, every country has put forth very, very stringent norms. There is a gap between the practitioners also. They are of a hard mindset that only those traditional methods of manufacturing provide effective results, which is practically, I would not agree with that. And as we chemical engineers, we are seriously involved in transforming the thing.
Yeah.
It is like making a union of the ancient medical sciences along with the modern technology.
Yeah.
I think we'll be able to easily break through all these challenges and definitely comply to the standards set by various countries.
Yeah.
And it's already under progress. For example, for the last around 15 years, a Siddha product was not registered in Singapore.
Right.
But after 15 years, for the first time, we registered 4 products
with
the Singapore government, HSA. And one more thing is, especially this Corona has given a very good leap for the Ayurveda and especially the Siddha industry.
Yeah.
There is a product called Kabasura Kudinir. In fact, which kept us very safe during this Corona period.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we registered that product in Singapore. It is officially sold in Singapore now.
Wow.
And we are also in the process of registering it in various other countries.
Yeah.
And the second important point is the government has started giving a very great focus for Ayurveda and Siddha now. So even on the regulatory front, government is giving a 50% subsidy for the companies who want to register their products in various overseas countries.
Yeah.
And there are also a lot of export-related subsidies extended to them. So definitely next 3-4 years, it is going to be a golden period for Ayurveda and Siddha. And it will reach at least around another 10 to 12 countries in the next 3-4 years.
Very interesting. And so it's really interesting to see the growth in that. And it has to happen because it's, to be honest, the allopathy is good and it's a quick fix, but there are a lot of traditional medicine has been helpful for a lot of people, and there have been a couple of cases, but it is not actually, the medicine is not done proper research. And the data is not presented that, okay, I have tested this particular medicine on 100 people and this was the result. So 80% worked out, 20%, the way allopath actually represented. Also, in our traditional medicine, it is not declared how much each chemical amount is there, right? So like if I'm, like your ashwagandha, it has no declaration of how much potassium, magnesium, etc., is there. So if there is any chronic disease holder, they are scared of using it, even though they want to use it. So
I would say there are three major areas of challenge there. One is, as you said, regarding this clinical trials. There is no proper, though the clinical trial is done, it is done in a
very casual
non-professional way. And, that's the one thing. Second thing is, as you said, the drug combination is not declared. So at least the Indian government has corrected that. It has become mandatory that the drug composition should be mentioned in the labels.
Yeah.
But one challenging fact is the amount of fine chemicals or actives which are present in those herbs, they are not standardized.
Right.
And when you go to test that, it becomes an expensive task. Even we had a stakeholders meeting a few weeks back where we stressed these 2 points. One is government should provide a very strong support as far as the testing and as far as the clinical trials are concerned. And the government has agreed to that. See, when these 2 points are taken care by the government, when we receive a support from the government on these 2 segments, definitely the hurdles are removed.
Yeah. Very interesting. That shift required, and I'm pretty sure we have a great future on that sense. So that brings to my last question. What, according to you, is the impact of digital marketing in Indian FMCG market?
See, I mean, it is very dynamic today. The digital marketing is very dynamic. But the size of the Indian FMCG business is very, very, very big. And when you do a comparison between the traditional FMCG segment and the digital will be hardly present to an extent of around 3 to 4%. But the rate at which it is growing is really dynamic, and it has penetrated a lot. Like even people from villages, they use Amazon on Flipkart quite easily.
Yeah.
And maybe in the next 10 years period, I expect it to capture around 18 to 20% market share. So this is the current level.
I'm noticing it's internet is available in the distance villages as well, and people are getting aware, and especially this Corona time actually taught a lot. Like the kids are actually getting educated, so we are getting too much digital these days. The area which we were not interested in digital, we are going due to limitations we are facing right now. So I think it's gonna bring a more exposure and to the people.
Definitely. See, the urban population has already become, I would say, addicted to the digital marketing segment, especially during the Corona the rural population has also started having an exposure towards this. I would say that the digital industry should thank Corona for this.
Yeah.
And definitely next 3-4 years, the growth of digital marketing is going to be very, very fast. And one very important thing I want to stress is the platform is very fair for the larger corporates and the smaller players as far as the digital marketing is concerned.
Yeah.
Even a very small player with a very good product is able to give a fair, good competition to the large corporates thanks to the digital industry because of that.
Yeah.
Definitely, this is going to give a fair ground to the manufacturers, according to me.
Yeah, I mean, we came out of the whole industrial era, so we don't need a big factory anymore to become an entrepreneur. We need $1,000 laptop, and we are ready to become an entrepreneur. So we are in a different era altogether, and the exposure is tremendous. The knowledge we can actually dig in through this Google, and also that, of course, innovation and technology has facilitated us a lot to become whatever we want. So this scope is gonna bring a lot of the youngsters in the market. Young kids are actually coming up, becoming entrepreneurs. There is no limited job style that the young kids has to adopt, and thanks to all this digital era. So I'm sure FMCG will adopt soon, and more and more people will be coming into that industry. So any last suggestion you would like to say people who wants to come into this industry? You have anything to say to them?
See, this is especially if it is more concerned to India, I would say that this is a very good period. Post-corona is a very good period. Our government has extended a lot of benefits, lot of supportive activities. People from all sects of all sectors. It may be a tiny industry, it may be a home-driven industry, or it may be a corporate. They should they should effectively make use of the benefits extended by the government. And really, this is the right time to make in India a very, very successful program. So this is my request to the Indian business community. Because we do work a lot on the grants provided by the government on various fronts. I would say that the awareness level is still very less, and even many grants are going without being effectively utilized. Though government is taking a lot of steps to promote them among people, there is no proper initiation from the people to effectively make use of this. So I would strongly request people to make use of that, reap the benefits, provide things at a very competitive price to the people. And make in India a big success in the global market.
I mean, I always believe that if you really want to reach out to the mass, you should reach out to the college students in India, and it will reach out to the mass. If you want to educate in that sector, Australian governments also supports a lot in export and import grants and everything. So I'm pretty sure if Australian governments, if people from the Australian market, like wine industry and all ship industries there, beef market, there are a lot of things Australia has to offer, and it will be a good handshaking in the future. So to find you, all your details will be given into the below the description, and they can reach you out. You are active on social media, I guess. As I know. So people can reach you out and they can find your details. And thanks for joining in today. It was really interesting conversation, and I'm sure there are a lot to offer, and that our audience will get the benefit of it for sure. Thank you for joining in today.
Thank you, Priya. Thank you so much.